Hi, this is Lynn Wright from Glazerbug Dolls and More, and I want to show you these beautiful flowers that I made. And guess what these are made out of? They are made from potato chip bags. Yep, potato chip bags. I came up with this, and as far as I know, it's my original idea. I was inspired by all the recycle crafts that I see Shelly King of Crafting Mamas do. She has a lovely group. Please check her out on YouTube and on Facebook. And also, I was kind of inspired also by this artist. I just saw a video of hers on Facebook called Chalma, and she made some flowers out of coffee bags, but much different than this. And when I was thinking, what am I going to do with these potato chip bags I've been saving? I realized, the Girl Scouts, they take these bags and they bake them and they shrink, like shrink plastic into little tiny bags, and they make keychains out of them. And I've seen people weave with them, and that's about it. Sew them together and make purses. I've Googled, I YouTubed, I went on Pinterest, and I haven't seen anyone that came up with this technique and making chip bags into flowers. So basically, what you do is you take your empty chip bag, hopefully you opened it straight at the top, then you're going to cut it straight at the bottom, and then you cut it along this seam with just a pair of scissors, and what you'll get is something like this. And then what I did was, on this, to color it, I just used Tim Holtz alcohol inks, but you could use Copic markers. You can use any kind of alcohol ink pens or inks on this. And I just dabbed some ink on it, and I let it dry, and then you can punch it with a punch, or you can run it through your die cutter. That's what I did. Is I have some dies, some Sizzix dies for one's a fringed flower, and the other one is like a water lily. I think it's called flower number 4, something like that. So I have some old Sizzix dies that I use. And so then what you end up with is this. And I've come up with a technique because they really, this one got cut out all the way, they really shrink incredibly fast. I tried, baking them in the oven, but they ended up just, looking like little dead, desiccated bugs. Some of these I hand cut out. There's little pieces left over I don't have a punch small enough for. I just hand cut it. They don't have to be perfect because, we're going to be melting them. So move these flowers out of the way, and what I do is I use coins. The big ones I use a quarter. Some smaller ones I'll use a penny, a nickel, or a dime, because I have like different sizes here, and I'm going to shrink them to different sizes. And this just helps me weigh them down. It helps me control some of the melting so they don't over melt them. So let me give you a demonstration with my heat gun and show you the technique. It takes a while to get this. You're probably going to, melt a few into nothing, but that's okay. So I hold it down with a pair of scissors. If it's small, if it's big like this, it's not going to blow away. Get my heat gun. Mine heats up really fast. And then just go around the edges. You don't want to make them get too small. This is my larger. And the coins do get a little hot. If you want them to cup a little bit, this is an empty bottle. You you can cup them a little bit like that. Oops, I did go a little too far with this one. Let's see. But that's okay. They're not going to be perfect, but that's the beauty of them. There's a nickel. This medium one. I went a little, you can go a little too far real easy, but it's okay. Here's the small one. The small one, the dime is not heavy enough for it to not blow away, so there you go. And the gun is getting hotter as have it on longer also. So it's a start. So I'm going to need 6 of these. I need 2 small, 2 medium, and 2 large to make a flower. And depending on the size of your die, I can get about 1.5 to 2 flowers out of one small chip bag. But you know, if you eat big chip bags full of, you're going to have lots of flowers. This one's going to be the middle, so I'm going to make this get pretty small. See that? If I hadn't had the coin on there, it would have been a little tiny ball. Okay, and then what you do is you take a brad. This actually has pre-punched holes in this die. So then I'm going to take my 2 small ones and stagger, you know, like if the petals are smaller on one side or larger on the other. Actually, I'm looking at this and I don't like the middle of the smallest flower, so I'm just going to touch that up a little bit more and make it shrink just a tiny bit more to my liking. Okay. That way it's cupped a little bit more. Let's see. So, there. I like the way, whoops, this one looks better. So there's the small. I'm going to grab a medium. And another one. And this is the large one that got a little too small. But that's fine, that's going to work out great. And then the last large one that I didn't melt very much. So they all are staggered in different sizes. And voila, I mean, look how beautiful it is. It's a potato chip bag, girls. And they're so lightweight, so they're not going to weigh down a project. I think they'll go in the mail very easy. Just really easy and just really pretty. And you know, when you're putting your ink down on the bags, it doesn't have to be perfect because you know, you have spots of silver in between showing. It's going to shrink, so the color actually gets darker. Now I'll do one of this other size flower. These are the water lily, and then I have a couple of other pieces that I hand cut or had left over from another project. So this one I'm going to do, they're all the same size, so I'm going to do like a dime and a penny on one and a nickel just to control and try to get my graduated sizes for the flower. Okay, and like the pennies and the dimes, they tend to not hold down the flower very well, so I don't want them to blow away. Sorry about that. that. I'm not a videographer, and I'm doing this video on my own, so please bear with me. Actually ended up smaller than the other one, but that's fine. I'll try melting this one. I don't want to melt it too much. Ooh. See that? How fast that is once it gets really hot? That one's a really good one. These are going to look so cool when they're done. This is just a piece of leftover that I hand cut. As you can see, it's got a piece missing. It's not perfect. That's not a big deal because they shrink. It's just another layer. That one actually is a little too tiny probably. We'll see. Like I said, some of these are, whoops, extras. Yeah, that one's, they just added layers. This little one I just kind of fringed. My idea is to use up as much of the chip bag as possible. Keep it out of the landfill. Okay, now I got all these little melted, winky little pieces. See, this is what, after I die cut and you punch it out, what it looks like. And sometimes there's enough in between a punch or a die cut that you can still cut out. Because you colored the whole bag, it will leave a mess like glitter when you're die cutting. It looks like I have glitter spilled all over the place. You can't see that on the film, but I promise you it's there. Alright, so I'm going to start with the smallest and just start stacking and staggering them. If they're shorter on one side, I put the long side of another one there to hide it. So you really just get a lot of really good layers this way. And the layers give it a lot of dimension. So even those ones that just melted into nothing, I don't know if you can see, they're really helping develop these. Okay, these don't have a hole punched in them, but since this is a chip bag, it pokes through pretty easy, the brad, and I don't even have tearing after. And it just pokes right through. I haven't had any problems just poking it through, so you don't have to even get your hole punch out. Now, you can experiment with different things. I have not tried a Mylar balloon yet. They're a little on the thick side. And I don't think that, because they're too much plastic coating, I'm afraid of the fumes. I'm not trying the kid juice, the juice bags. The kids get juice in. Look how pretty that is. Whoops, hope you can see that. You see these? How pretty. And if you don't have, like I had just this little yellow flower brad, you can just hot glue a piece of bling on top of it. And if you don't have a brad, you can just glue the layers together with a hot glue gun very carefully because they will shrink, and just glue a piece of bling on the inside. I mean, you get all these beautiful flowers. I think this is 4 chip bags that didn't make the landfill. They're going to go in projects or Happy Mail. And it was trash. And not just chip bags. Here's fruit snacks. So any of this thin Mylar material, it seems to melt very well and shrink. And you can use any kind of flower dies. Circle dies, and you can fringe them. Anything, where the edges can curl up. Leaf dies, you can do a bunch of leaves and just use them as petals. Knock yourselves out. This is a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about sharing this. Thank you.